Hello and welcome to the Healing Hill. My name is Tiffany Hill Cook, and today's episode rounds out the fourth episode on a four-part series specifically related to the elements. We started with fire, then we went into earth. Yesterday I did air, and today we're doing water. Something that I have been imploring you, attempting to inspire you to do is incorporate each one of those elements every day. When I say incorporate it, it's tap into the essence of that energy or element daily. I promise you, if you access each one of those elements every day, even if it's for 5 minutes, you will feel more balanced. When you start to feel an imbalance, it's because there's that you are not accessing one of those elements. I can guarantee. All right, we'll see you soon. All right, so today we are talking about the element of water. And when I think about water, uh, and this actually goes for all of the elements, I think of it in two ways. In the more practical sense of like it as an element, like consuming water. Um, I have a variety of different herbal waters that are floral waters that I will share with you later. Showering, actually, intermingling with the physical element of water. But then I also think of it as our emotional inner world. There are going to be three zodiac signs that fall into the element of water, and I don't know the third one, but I definitely know Cancer and Scorpio are in there because one is my sun sign, and one is my rising sign. And so just because someone might have a more emotional signs in their chart, it doesn't mean that they're not smart. It doesn't mean that they're irrational. It just may mean that they're more sensitive to, to the world in their existence. So, all right. Before we get started, I would like to ask you to incorporate this element as well as fire, earth, and air into your daily life. And when I say incorporate it, I've made videos on the different ways in which I personally access them. The universe is infinite. There are infinite ways in which to tap into these elements, these energies. So I'm just giving you a handful of examples. Share with me how you do it. Just do it. Because I can promise you it will bring in balance into your life. Not imbalance. It will bring your life into balance. So, all right. So to start with the different ways in which I access water every day, the first thing is going to be consuming it. I don't know what percentage, I can't remember exactly what percentage our body is of water. So it is important that we, replenish our water, down to a cellular level. And so drink as much water as you need in a day. I've heard something that if you take your weight, so let's say if you weigh 200 pounds and you divide that by 2, so take your weight in half, that's how many ounces you're supposed to drink a day. Um, I try to drink 80 ounces a day, which is more than half of my body weight. But that's going to be, to each their own. But I just encourage you to consume water. I don't think people drink enough water. For me, when I'm tired or hungry, a lot of times just drinking some water brings me back into homeostasis. So, consumption of water. This is something that most of us do on a daily basis, would be taking a shower. Literally cleansing and rinsing of our body, or taking a bath. That's another way in which we can tap into the element of water. I live out of my RV. I sold my house in 2021 and, did some traveling, with COVID, not international traveling, but within the United States. And so I don't have a bath anymore. I miss it dearly. And I'm manifesting some new living conditions for myself. So I don't know how much longer I'm going to be in the RV, but it's served me really well thus far. So something that I do is I can just actually fill up a bowl or some sort of container with warm water. I normally do warm water, and stick my feet into it. It's a wonderful foot bath. You can put some essential oils into it. You could put some crystals if you wanted into it, or rocks as well. So that's another way. I've got a couple. I actually brought some stuff to show and share with you. One of my dear friends, she owns a business and it is called creekcandles.love. And she makes this phenomenal, I would call it a floral water. So her business though, so it's Creek Candles. So she's got two here, and I use these somewhat like I would do a smudging stick. I actually will spray this around my entire RV. If I don't feel like washing my hair, I'll actually use this as like a dry shampoo as well. But she's got two of them. One is called Florida water, and a lot of people make Florida water. And the other that she has, which I really love, oh my gosh, it's called Almost Florida water. It's got like some beautiful lavender essence to it. And each one of these, so these are essentially energy tools. So the Almost Florida water, for example, is used for protection, prosperity, and luck. The Florida water is, oh goodness, can I read this? Is for blessing, cleansing, and protection. I live in the Pacific Northwest, which is on the border of Canada, and we just got through winter solstice. So, albeit it's just the afternoon, the sun is about to set. So another thing that I like to use, and I actually just got these for Christmas, and I can't stop using them. I'm not kidding you. The organization is called Circle of Healing, Organic Aromatherapy for Body, Mind, and Spirit. It's circleofhealingesentialoils.com. This one's called frankincense water. This one is rose water. This one is neroli water. And I just use them. Oh my gosh, they smell so delicious, just like a toner. And I use these throughout the day. It's a really nice way to love on myself, rejuvenate myself, and again, connect with the element of water. So we've talked about drinking the water, showering, bathing, foot baths, different floral waters, or tonics that you can use, and I spray my entire area, or I put it actually on my body. So that's more in the physical sense. What I would say also for me when I think about water is our emotions, and being in touch with our emotions and understanding emotionally where we are at. I always say that, and I truly believe that emotions have a beginning and a middle and an end. And what may start out as anger doesn't necessarily end as anger, but that emotion, you've got to allow yourself to process it fully, or we get what we call trauma, which is not what necessarily happens to us, but what we hold inside in the absence of an empathetic witness. That's a quote by Peter Levine. And so um, I'm curious, do you throughout the day, you should be functioning out of your heart space for starters. Most of us sit up here in our logical mind. That is particularly in Western society, that's what is celebrated. That is what is encouraged. Particularly me identifying as a woman, as a female. I can definitely tell you what I have been told, whether it be by my family or it be in the professional arena, that I was too emotional, I've been too sensitive. All of that is bullshit. If I'm too of anything, then goodbye. You don't get any more of my energy. If your first response to someone is that they're being too emotional, then it is your responsibility to reorganize your words and your tone that you are delivering to that person. The only person that you're responsible for is yourself. So when you start deflecting, because that's what, to me, somebody has come to you with some sort of emotion that, like, I get we're going off on a tangent here, but this is how we're going. When it has happened to me in my life, I have come with some sort of grievance, some sort of issue associated to an experience that I had with someone. And I was feeling a certain kind of way. So I came to the person and shared with them how I was feeling. And instead of them taking ownership of that situation and seeking to understand, ask how they could show up differently, for me to not feel that certain kind of way, it's a really easy response to say, well, you're just too sensitive. It's not my problem, it's your problem. That's just deflection. That is you not taking ownership of your uh, of the way that you're impacting people. And let me just tell you, intention and impact are two very different things. I can guarantee that your intention is never to make someone feel a certain kind of way. But that doesn't mean that your impact wasn't that way. Intention and impact are two different things, and you can't hang your hat on intention. Intention means shit. It is the way that you impact someone that actually matters. So, I think it's important, the universe operates under one law, and that is the law of attraction. So, when and our thoughts quite literally become things. And if you've watched any of my videos, this is not new information. This is something that I say pretty regularly. How do I know what my thoughts are? Well, there's this beautiful relationship between your thoughts and your feelings. How you feel is a direct reflection of your thoughts. That's your emotional inner world, which is connected and associated to the element of water. It also is going to overlap into fire. You can think of some fiery emotions. It also is going to connect with grounding, which is connected to the earth. The less grounded you are, the more flighty you're going to feel emotionally. You're not going to feel safe. You're not going to feel like you have purpose. And ultimately, when you think of air, it's all about communication. And I am reading this really great book right now by Brene Brown. It was given to me for Christmas. It's called Atlas of Heart. And is it Atlas of Heart? I think so. Or Heart Atlas. You can look it up. But what it breaks down are 87 emotions as well as experiences. And she worked, this took years of data collection. I'm talking, I think it was like 65,000 people that they took some data from. And then she also worked with specialists within this field to start to discern what is actually the definition of this emotion. How does it show up? Because one of the things that I have experienced is, and I've seen it in others, when you're not able to effectively share how you're feeling, it's like being in prison. And not only that, it's a really isolating experience because you feel like nobody understands you. That is the definition of loneliness. I'm the only one. Alone and loneliness are two very different things. To feel lonely, you could be in a room of 1,000 people, 1,000,000 people, but you may feel like you're the only one experiencing what you are experiencing. So, as part of water, I think it's important that we understand our emotions, that we honor our emotions. I've also made a video on self advocacy because sometimes we may need to go have a conversation with someone and share with them how they're impacting us. Or you may need to write a letter. Maybe the person that is making you feel that certain kind of way is no longer even with us in this earthly plane. They have passed over into the spirit world. You may need to write them a letter. Maybe, like myself, I've gone no contact with quite a few family members due to the toxicity, due to the low vibrational. I'm going to be because of the way that I feel when I am around them. It's not a positive experience. And just because you're family, you don't get a hall pass to show up like a shitty person in my life. So there may be times, though, that I am feeling a certain kind of way, like guilt. That was one that I had quite a bit of because that was a regularly used emotion by my mother to solicit certain behaviors. My mother is a narcissist. And so, if you have ever been in a relationship with a narcissist, it took me 35 years to realize the way in which my mother manipulated me. 35 years. So I've written her many letters, letters that I had no intention of ever sending, but my heart needed to express something. And that's going to be associated to your emotions. So, what I would implore you to do is write out the 4 elements: fire, earth, air, water, and ask yourself, and when you write out the element, make a commitment, an objective around how you're going to tap into them every day. And I would say, with reference to water, I would say ask myself at least twice a day. I mean, I ask myself like almost hourly, how am I feeling? And why I say hourly, I meet with clients, I do readings for individuals, and some individuals use my services quite literally like counseling. And so there are times and that I can be feeling content or graceful in my day, and then all of a sudden I feel sadness or anger. It's like, whoa, where did that come from? 99% of the time, it was never my emotion to begin with, but everything's energy. So I may have just gotten off of a session and I did not do a good enough job having energetic hygiene, being hygienic around the interaction that I had with this person. And so their energy is lingering around me. And so, I may need to tap into, at that point in time, the energy of air and clean my air, clear my mind. I've shared this before, something to do if you ever do feel, if you are an empath, which means that you have the gift of feeling what other people feel. People think of it as a negative thing. There's a lot of happiness and joy in this world too. Imagine just being able to feel that as a byproduct. Now, all of us are sensitive to other people's energy. Think about somebody standing too close to you in line. You're like, you move back, I need some more space. That person's energetic body was too close to your energetic body. So whether you realize it or not, there are definitely ways in which you feel other people's energy. Somebody yelling in anger, you can feel that energy. It's palpable. So I would implore you at least a couple of times a day to do a check-in. How do I feel right now? Because it's going to be in direct relationship to your thoughts. So that's how you can start to create new neural pathways, by creating new thoughts associated that will also ultimately show up as different behaviors. So if you notice that you have a tendency to tell yourself that you are a loser, that you're worthless, and you may not say that, but you may feel the need to say something and you go, I don't need to say that. Nobody cares what I think. You're probably going to feel pretty bad. It's not going to be a fun, your heart is going to be pretty in a lot of pain. So what you're going to replace that with is go, everybody enjoys being in my company. I am a great friend. I love openly. I accept myself fully. Whatever the new affirmation is going to be, but you need to replace that with the other thoughts, because those other thoughts aren't true. That's programming that you picked up from mom, dad, or society, and the ego is not your enemy. It's your best teaching tool ever. And it keeps you safe. It truly does. It's part of your personality. Think about when somebody's lacking in personality. That would be kind of boring too. So, let's see here. Anything else? Just, I want you to know that you're capable of doing this. And if your life is not where you want it to be, this is a simple 4 elements, 15 minutes a day that you tap into. And I can promise you the amount of well-roundedness, the wholeness, the oneness, the balance that you'll feel, you're going to want to be skipping through the streets. Please share this with a friend. And you know what? Maybe, I have been really intentional when I've gone through each one of these elements to not make this, something that you needed to do with another person, because I truly believe that happiness is an inside out job. And when you start reaching outside of yourself, you are going to set yourself up for failure. But sometimes it's helpful to have an accountability buddy. So maybe you want to, and you want to do this with them and celebrate, the daily highs, and then also share with them where you're struggling. Do that. Strive to be better together. I also am going to put my services, my bookings link in the description, because this is what I do. I do spiritual advisement. And so maybe you would like to meet with me one-on-one to get some help and, really defining what is going to work for you with reference to these 4 elements. Or maybe there's something else in life that you're needing. Maybe your job, you're at a standstill there, or your relationships are really shitty and they're not working for you. Well, let's figure out how to make them work for you. And it's more than just talking. There's going to be some action that's required on your end in order for you to fully, manifest these changes that and maybe you don't even know what the changes are that you're seeking. What started me on this journey is I had so much pain in my heart. Like I couldn't exist with the pain that I felt in my heart any longer. I couldn't do it. So, let's see here. Thank you so much for sharing your energy with me and joining me. And what I would like to share with you before leaving is that my mission in this lifetime is to help people fall back in love with themselves. So I need you to know that you are loved, and you are loved simply because it is true, not for anything that you do or do not do. Okay? All right. I love you. Share with me, how do you tap in with the element and energy of water? Maybe you love Wim Hof and the Iceman, and you like to do ice baths, or you're really into swimming. Maybe you like to put crystals in your water. Maybe you like to program your water by, speaking different magical things into your water. There was a study done some years ago, and I don't remember the name of the book, but quite literally your water is programmable. So, that's pretty freaking cool. It's kind of like your food. Why you say grace before we eat is to get our body into a state of grace and to help program that food. So, all right. I love you so much. Tiffany Hill Cook, signing off.